passage, Psalms 2, verse 12. Listen to what it says. It says, this is in the Old Testament, kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. I want to stop right there. He said, kiss the Son, lest he be angry. Kiss the Son. In this, from the context, we know that when he's talking about the Son in the Old Testament, he's talking about Jesus. How can you tell? If you read verses 6 through 7, let me just show you so we can be clear that we're not talking about David or somebody else. He says in verses 6 through 7, says in verse 6, yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Verse 7, I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Notice, he says, I begotten thee. This is a prophetic word pointing to Jesus. Jesus is described as who? The only begotten of the Father. In the Old Testament, they're saying about Jesus, kiss the Son, lest he be angry. And you know he's not talking about any other king, because if we read in verses 10 and 12, I'll read this, he makes a distinction between regular kings and the King of kings, the King of all the earth, and his Son. Listen to what he says in verse 10. He says, be wise now therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Then he says in verse 12, now kiss the Son, lest he be angry. He makes a distinction between the kings and judges of the earth and his Son. This is literally, he's talking about Jesus. We're to kiss the Son, the only begotten of the Father, Jesus Christ. This is a beautiful passage. This prophecy of Jesus, and we're expected to treat him like this. How? By kissing him. But what does it mean to kiss the Son? Let's be very clear. Kiss, some people will hear this and may cringe because it doesn't sound spiritual, it doesn't sound religious, it sounds too emotional. But this word kiss, this is something that we're commanded to do. It actually has several meanings that gives us a complete image of what the Lord requires from each of us. Do you know when I first got saved, nobody told me this? I kind of wish somebody said this. When I first got saved, and I said, so what do I do now? Nobody ever told me, now you're supposed to kiss the Son. Mm. I think my relationship would have been stronger if I would have known once I got saved. You know, when you get saved, you're just trying to figure things out. I need to pray. I need to do this. I don't know what to do now. I want to draw close to God. What should I do? If somebody would just say, here's the next step. What's that? Kiss the Son. It made a lot of things much easier. Here's what he says. It means several things. He said, kiss the Son. What does it mean by kiss? This word actually it's a layered word. And I believe he's referring to all these things. The word kiss, it means this. It literally means to meet together. Meet together. How do you know? Because in Psalms 85, verse 10, it uses the word kiss and it describes it as meeting together. In Psalms 85:10, it says this, mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Notice that. They make a comparison. He said, just like mercy and truth, they meet together. Righteousness and peace, they meet together. But he uses the word to kiss. Why? Because to kiss the Son, it means to meet together. To be joined together with the Son. To be joined at his hip. In other words, we cannot have peace, he says, without having righteousness, and vice versa. It's impossible. If you have righteousness, you'll have peace. Because they're what? Joined together at the hip. And in the same way, the writer says we cannot make the Son happy unless we just meet with him. And vice versa. We cannot be joined at the hip with him and not make him happy. He said, kiss the Son, just meet with Jesus.
My Lord.
Lest he be angry. To kiss. But it also means, the layered word, he says, kiss the Son, meet with him. But it also means to do this, to worship. To kiss the Son not only tells us what to do, meeting with him, but it also tells us how to do this meeting, interaction with Jesus. How? By worshiping him. Read 1 Kings 19:18. It says this. It says, now this is very interesting because 1 Kings 19:18 is really when Elijah is running from Jezebel. And as he runs from Jezebel, he wants to take his life. It's amazing. Here, this man just called down fire from heaven and killed over 400, 500, about 900 some men, prophets of Baal and other prophets, killed them. And all of a sudden, one woman makes him want to kill himself. That's amazing how one relationship will make him want to kill himself. And then he goes to this mountain and he says to the Lord, I'm the only one left. I just want to die. And here's what the Lord said in 1 Kings 19:18. He says, yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which have not kissed him. He says, I have 7,000 people like you that ain't kissed, have not worshiped this idol God. Why did he say the word kiss? Because kiss does not only means meeting with Jesus, but when I meet with him, he's waiting for worship. He's waiting for this intimacy, this interaction, that when we can just spend time together, where I can be intimate with him. I got a call last night. A brother called me late at night and said, Pastor Mike, I know it may be late, but I just got a question. He said, I'm curious. And I said, let me call you. I said, what's that? He said, what does it mean when Jesus says that they that worship God must worship him in spirit and in truth? He said, you got to explain it. So I told him, okay, in the context, he was talking to this woman by the well, and she was saying that you must worship on this mountain. You need to worship here. And I said, this is how most believers, or many believers, think when it comes to worship. They got to be in this kind of atmosphere. The atmosphere is right in this place. I feel the Spirit moving over here. You know, it ain't moving over there, but I feel that I need to be in this type of atmosphere. And Jesus had to correct her. He said, listen, there's a time where it's not a matter of the atmosphere, because they that worship God, he's looking for true worshipers, those that will worship him in spirit and in truth. I explained to him what spirit was, but I said truth. This is interesting because it's a double layered meaning. I said truth in the sense when you worship God in truth. Do you know that God looks at the heart? Yeah. He doesn't look at your hands. He doesn't look when you fall on your knees. He doesn't look when you're crying to him. That doesn't move him.
Come on.
Your tears don't move him. Just like when your children try to manipulate you, you already see it. It doesn't move you. My baby would call, Mom, I'm hungry. She actually did the same thing when Gavin was young. You gonna feed me? I'm hungry. Her tears didn't move me. I fed her because that's my child. I fed him because he was in my heart. He says, there's coming a time where they that worship him must worship him in spirit, but also in truth. That means that God looks at the heart. No matter how you worship, no matter if you got runs or you just plain Jane opera singing traditional, he looks at the true nature of our heart. What's going on in your heart when you worship him? But I said it's layered, but also truth. That Greek word means reality. That means Jesus must be our reality. Your entire life becomes worship to him. Intimacy with him. When you're in your car, it's intimacy. When you sit down and eat, you're not eating alone. I'm eating with Jesus. I'm kissing the Son. When I daydream, I'm daydreaming about him. Even when there's no music playing, this is what he's expecting. He says, kiss the Son, lest he be angry. He said, we kiss him this way. Worship. Be intimate this way. Why? Because this makes the Lord happy. He says later, kiss the Son means meet with him. We see it in another context. It also means to worship Jesus. But watch this. It means this. He says to kiss the Son. It literally means to look at Jesus and not pull away from them. To look at them and not push back. You know, this is okay, so it's easier for women to hear this word kiss than it is for men in our culture in the West. In the Middle East, they understand it because in Eastern cultures, men greeted men with holy kisses. How you doing? That's normal. But in the West now, we don't do that. So it's kind of hard to translate to men in our day, but this was common. As a matter of fact, if you read Genesis 27:26, it says, and his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. That's what it meant. It's normal. It meant what it meant, to kiss. But see, here's the thing. When you kiss somebody, have you noticed when you kiss the person, the first thing we do before we can kiss them is we need to look at their face. That's the first thing. Yeah. So when he says to kiss the Son, he's saying, look at Jesus and refuse to pull away from him. Don't back off. That's why Psalms 24 says, this is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face. Oh, Jacob, Selah. It means, see, okay, let me say it this way. There's a difference between looking to someone and looking at them. He says to look at me. Look, just look at me. Don't just look to me, but there's a difference. But here's the difference. Most people in our prayer, in our relationship with God, we look to him, okay? To look to somebody is I'm asking for this person's hand to help. That's the look to. But when you look at, I'm asking for this person's hand in marriage because now I want them. I'm not just looking to you to help me. I'm looking at you because I want you. He says, in other words, he says, you have to kiss them in this way. Why? Because this is going to make them happy. I wish somebody told me this. I wasted many years in religious forms and practices that literally some of it had no meaning at all. And all he wanted was a simple relationship of kiss me because it makes me happy. He said, kiss the Son, lest what? Lest he be angry. Let me break it down. In other words, when you sum it all up, here's what he's saying. In other words, when we meet with the Lord Jesus, we're to do it with a heart of worship, with the sole purpose of intimacy, and always look at Jesus and not pull away from him because, why? It makes him happy. This is what he's looking for. It's going to make the Lord happy. That's all he's ever wanted. It's relational. He doesn't ask for anything else other than, I just want to be happy. How many of you ever just said to the Lord, I just want to be happy? Just let me be happy. Do you know Jesus is saying the same thing to us? I just want to be happy. When we go to Jesus, concerned about him, it makes the Lord happy. The question is Christ your main concern? Do you know when it talks about Jesus being angry? Let me explain this. Because you're saying, well, no, that ain't biblical. Well, let me explain what this word means. Here's what it means for him to be angry. That word angry means to breathe hard. Okay, all right, let me try this way. It's an image word, all right? It means breathing or sighing really loud, like, it's almost that, like, I'm tired of going through this over and over again. You ever feel like that? Yeah. Okay, my kids, they do that when you ask them, hey, can you go upstairs and get something for me? That's what it means. Okay, so y'all know, we do it too. We do it. It's when you're at that point where you're about to blow. And instead of blowing, you let it come out your mouth and you like, because you want to control what you feel. Because you don't want to hurt nobody. That's all it means. Here's what he says. He says, the Lord blows. When we don't kiss him. Okay. When we skip an entire day and not spend time with him, Jesus is like, do you know he loves you that much that he blows by not spending time with you? See, we think he's blowing just because we did something wrong, because we ain't spending time with him. It's like, but when we don't meet him to worship him and be intimate, Jesus does this because he wants an intimacy. Do you know, every time we turn away and don't look at him, he's like, let me control it. Because he loves us that much. You're thinking that, I don't know if I can go back to him after what I've done. And he's looking like, they ain't coming to me. After they did that. Or before they did it. Okay, y'all, you're saying, well, no, the Lord doesn't think like that. Okay, we're in scripture. Remember when the disciples couldn't heal that boy that was demon possessed, and he kept jerking and throwing himself in the fire. And the father said, hey, I took my son to your disciples. They couldn't do anything. And here's what Jesus did. He said, how long shall I suffer you? That's what he said. How long? But you say, okay, because they messed up. They went up. No, keep reading. He cast out this demon. Then they said, we couldn't do it. He said, listen, they talked to him on the side and said, Jesus, you need to help us out. Evidently, we noticed how you responded by us not being able to do this. Our inability to deal with this was causing you to, and for you to suffer with us. So how can we stop you from having to suffer with us? Here's what Jesus said, by prayer and fasting. Notice what he said to stop this. He said by prayer, by intimacy, by kissing the Son. Spend time with me. If you would have done that, I wouldn't have to suffer you and do this. I wouldn't have to blow, all because you refuse to spend time with me. But preacher, what if it ain't that easy? Let's be honest, it's hard to be spiritual when you had a bad day, or 2 bad days, or a bad week, a whole month, a whole year. It's hard to be spiritual. Let me tell y'all something. This week, I'm sharing this with you. This week I got so irritated and stressed out that where I felt that I don't know if you ever felt so stressed out you ain't want to care about nobody. I don't care about nobody. You ever feel like that? That's pretty bad, especially when the preacher feel like that. It ain't a good thing. Just when you get mad, the first thing we do is just cut out everybody. We want to cut everybody off. That's a natural reaction of just dealing with folk. Cut it out. Even folk, the innocents, the babies. I'm cutting you off too. I don't care about all y'all. You just get irritated. But what's interesting when I was feeling like that, the Lord gave me Psalms 15 a couple of days before I even knew I was going to feel like that. And I want to read to you. He actually gave me my help in advance. He does that. In Psalms 15, let me show you what it says. And I had to meditate on this, and the Lord took that frustration and that pain away. Psalms 15, I'm going to read verses 1 and 4. Here's what he says. And I'm going to read it from the NIV version. I like that better. The NIV says this, and this is Psalms 15, verse 1. It says, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? He goes and lists what the people who will be able to do this. In verse 4 it says, the person who despises a vile person, but honors those who fear the Lord. Here it is, who keeps an oath even when it hurts and does not change their mind. Okay, y'all ain't getting this. Let me read it from the New Living Translation. Here's what he says. He says this, verse 4, He says, those who despise flagrant sinners and honor the faithful followers of the Lord and keep their promises even when it hurts. The Lord ministered to me. He said, will you still pray and let people in and help them even when you hurt? Because you made this covenant with me when I shed my blood. Will you keep your promises even when it hurts? Me and the Lord had to talk about this. And I said, Lord, you know what? You deserve this. You deserve this. I'm willing to keep on taking the hit even when it hurts. He did David like that too. David was interesting. The Lord told David to go and protect this village that was being attacked by the enemy. And David went and protected them. These are people. Saul was chasing David. David was trying to save his life, but God sent him. He inquired the Lord. He sent him to this place. And then all of a sudden, Saul got word that he was there, was heading to him. And David prayed and said, Lord, the people that we help, will they turn on us? He said, yeah. He said, what should we do? He told him to leave. The Lord sent him there to a people knowing they would turn on him, but he still sent them there to help. Will you be for the Lord even when it hurts? Will you keep your promises to the end when it hurts? He says in Psalms 2, verse 12, he says, will you kiss the Lord because it makes him happy, even though it costs you everything? Kiss the Lord, lest he be angry. Let me say it one more time. Kiss the Lord, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. And he said this, blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Here's what he said, blessed and be happy. He said, happy are all they that put their trust in who? The Son. Yeah. Do you know that we trust to the degree that we kiss him? This is what produces happiness. You know, I don't know about you, but you know, it just feels good to be happy. And here's what he says. The psalmist says that even if you want happiness, God will impart happiness in your life if you learn to kiss him and not despise him, even when it hurts. But that don't sound right. Just keep kissing him. Kiss the Son. It will produce happiness. And we will grow in trust. Why? Because we trust to the degree that we kiss. Kissing, you know, that kissing the Son is a very specific command. It's very specific. Notice when he didn't say just love the Son, which we should. We should love Jesus, right? But he doesn't say that. Why? Because there's different ways to express love. He doesn't just say be faithful to the Son. We should do that. But why? Because there are different ways to manifest faithfulness. But he said, he gave a very specific command. He said, kiss the Son. Why did he say kiss the Son? It was specific. Why? Because that's only involves your mouth.
Jesus.
All right.
He said, that's why James said, if you can control your tongue, you'll be perfect. It involves your mouth. That's why the psalmist starts the psalm with our mouth. Read it. Verse 1, Psalms 2, verse 1 says, why do the heathen rage? The nation. Why do the nations rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Do you know that word imagine means to meditate on or just sit and talk about?
My Lord.
He started with addressing the mouth and ends it. Now, here's what you need to do with your mouth. Kiss the Son. Sit and talk to him instead of meditating on everything that's wrong.
Come on.
As a matter of fact, he didn't even say don't meditate on everything's wrong. We shouldn't do that. But here's what he said. Don't meditate or imagine or sit and talk about every vain thing. Do you know that vain, he says, these are things that have no eternal value.
Come on.
They matter to people, but they don't matter in the end because whatever we say for Christ, that's what's going to last. I know Jesus, that's good. We know Jesus, but how often do we sit up and just talk about him?
Come on, tell the truth.
Is he the main person on your conversation, in your lips? I was telling Nia, you know, when I talk to the kids at school about character and talk about, you know, being a successful entrepreneur, we talk about all these things, and it's like trying to, you know, like grabbing attention. Stop, be quiet, shut up, listen, hold on, let me talk, and then start talking. Shut up, be quiet. Like this a Tourette's thing going on, like what in the world? 6th, 8th grade, be quiet, shut up, stop, okay. You know, and then try to talk, then be quiet, sit down, shut up. But it's over and over, and it's so frustrating. But do you know, every time I've talked just about my experiences with Jesus, you can hear a pin drop. Yeah. Even the kids that cannot concentrate when they hear about what the Lord looks like, what he did, how did he do it, when he was suspended in the air. You literally, they're on the edge of their seats, and I don't have to just tell them to be quiet. Yeah. He's attractive enough to hold the people's attention if you just talk about him. Will you talk about the Lord? Will you imagine? Will you meditate? Will your thoughts be consumed with him? Listen, our thoughts are so consumed, and we sit and talk about every idea, plan, strategy for our life, what we plan on doing. But here's the thing, all this stuff will be burnt up in the end. The only thing that will last is what we said and done for him.
That's the truth.
He said, this is what makes him happy. But watch this. He says his happiness will add to your happiness, because he said happy are the ones that trust in him, that can kiss him over and over and over and over again. Here's what I challenge you. Will you kiss him this week?
Jesus.
Will you think about him? Will you meditate on him? Will you meet with him? Put your phone down and just sit and meet with him. Turn the TV off and just sit and meet with him. Literally, will you worship him? Daydream about him. Be intimate with him. Will you do this for Jesus? Will you literally look at his face and refuse to pull back? Will you make him happy, or will he have to go, all I want is you? This is a command. That means anything that goes against it is disobedience. All of this is a relationship. I can give you 2 points, 3. It doesn't matter. It's relational. There's no amount of points I can give you that can translate what I'm saying and what the Lord's heart is saying. You have to spend time with him. Hearing comes better. Seeing comes better. Living comes better. Strongholds break away to the degree that you kiss him. It's broken. Sadness literally leaves. Let me tell y'all a testimony. Do you know that when I was just waking up, Lord started to get me up early in the morning, over and over again. I'm in there just praising and worshiping, didn't know what I was doing, looking stupid, dancing around. My wife came downstairs, rolled her eyes, like, oh, Lord, what's going on with this boy? Dancing around, worshiping, doing all these things. And I'm sitting here before the Lord, and then all of a sudden one night, the Lord woke me up, and she saw the Lord pour the oil of gladness in me. And all of a sudden, everywhere I go, I just felt joy. The people were around me like, man, you just, so much joy on you. What happened? I kissed the sun. And others are depressed and sad all the time, beating themselves up. Where's this joy coming from? You're not kissing the sun. You're not meditating on him. What did you talk about today? Bills, man. I'm talking. What you talk? My family. Talk. It's not even just problems. You talk about all this other stuff that will not last and walk away sad because you're not kissing the sun. I'm not saying that problems won't come. Yeah, problems will come. I had a problem this week, but the Lord, I had to kiss him to feel better. Ain't that something? What's going to make me feel better? It wasn't crying out to him. How often have you cried to God and you still felt the same? Right, because that's not the solution. He never promised that he will just do that just with your tears. But he did say, if you kiss me, yeah, you kiss me, happiness will come. How often do you kiss me? Or are you too busy to kiss me? But we're not too busy to hurt. We're tired of hurting.
Yes, wow. Yes.
So kiss me. And this is why the Lord is, because he's tired of seeing us hurt like this.
Help us, Lord.
He's like, will they just understand? Just kiss me. The disciples asked Jesus, how did you get like this? He says, oh, that's easy. I pray, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He told them to pray. That's why Jesus would slip away every single day in lonely places to be with the Father.
Yes, to be close to you. Yes, sir.
He just wanted to kiss the Father, to be joined next to him, to a place where the writer says that his greatest goal was to sit next to him for all eternity. Joined at the hip. What are your goals in life? Is it to have a business, get an education, make a certain amount of money? What if your goal was, my goal is to kiss him?
My Lord.
And let's see how far we can go with this relationship. I dare you. Or will you be that person next week, the same thing? Next year, the same drama. Year after 10 years from now, the same stuff. And he's like, will you just, I just want to be kissed. I want to pray for you. I'm done. He's not asking for anything too difficult. He's only asking for what we normally ask for. I just want to be loved by somebody. And that's all the Son is asking. Will you love me? Can I find someone who will love me? Somebody who will trust me enough to open their heart and let me come in. Will you kiss the Son? He says, this is repentance. Kiss the Son. You must kiss the Son. Listen, my prayer for you right now is that the Lord will draw your heart closer to him. That he will deliver you from empty conversations. Just shooting from him, but never talking about him. Complaining, but never talking about him.
Hallelujah.
Talking about problems more than you talk about him. Talking about your kids more than you talk about him. Talking about your career and your goals more than you talk about him. Planning for your future, but never planning your future with him. Lord, I pray that you would deliver us and break that bondage of keeping our lips away from you. Teach us how to love you and to draw close to you. Open eyes that we can see that what we've done is not working. So we need to kiss you. Open our ears to let us hear that what we are been hearing is not adding any good thing in our life. We just want to hear about you. change our hearts and give us understanding that all of our knowledge is not adding a single thread to our hair, but understanding your heart, meditating on your ways is what makes you happy. Lord, we want to make you happy. We love you. We thank you in Jesus Christ's name. Let every heart say amen. 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 Come on, let's just celebrate.
Hallelujah.
Just
thank you, Lord.
kiss the Lord.
Thank you, Lord.